This isn't some quest to find the perfect stock, that unicorn that's going to make you rich overnight. It's about something way, way more powerful. It's about learning to just avoid the big mistakes, the ones that trip up almost everyone. And look, getting this right, it's not just some small piece of advice. It's a huge shortcut. Seriously, if you can understand these traps right from the beginning, you could literally save yourself years of frustration and missed opportunities. Okay, so let's dig in. We're going to start with maybe the biggest trap of all, and that's the lure of getting rich quick. You know, this question, how fast can I double my money? This is where it all goes wrong. This is the starting point for so many bad decisions, because when you're focused on fast, you just go chasing hype, right? You jump on meme stocks, you follow crypto pumps, anything that promises that quick win. But here's the honest truth. The market has a way of humbling impatient people. Real wealth isn't built on speed. It's built on consistency and, well, time. All right, so let's build on that, because, you know, a lot of the most costly mistakes, they have nothing to do with charts or numbers. They're all about winning the inner game, that battle that happens right between your ears. And this just nails it. You can be a genius, you can have all the data in the world, but if you can't control your emotions, you are at a massive disadvantage. Emotional discipline, it's not some soft skill, it is everything. And this is that classic emotional roller coaster, isn't it? When the market's flying high, what do? We feel great or excited, we buy more, usually right near the top. But then, when it tanks, fear kicks in, and we panic. We sell everything, usually at the absolute bottom. It's the perfect recipe for losing money. Buy high, sell low. But there's another trap, and this one's a little more subtle, a little more sneaky, and it's just as dangerous. It's the comparison trap. I mean, you know how it is, you're scrolling online, you see someone bragging about some huge win, and all of a sudden your own steady gains feel kind of pathetic. But comparing yourself is a recipe for disaster. Why? Because your goals are different, your timeline is different, your stomach for risk is different. All that does is pull you off your own path. And when it comes to investing, your own path is the only one that matters. Focus is key. Okay, so we've talked about the mental game. Now let's talk about the action traps. These are the mistakes you make when you actually do something, often thinking you're being smart. It's so easy to fall for this one. You know, thinking that being active means you're a better investor. Always buying, selling, making moves, it feels productive, right? But what are the real costs? Well, you're racking up fees. You're creating tax headaches for yourself. And maybe worse of all, you're making impulsive decisions that just keep resetting your long-term progress. And that leads right into another huge one, trying to time the market. Oh man, we've all thought about it. I'll just wait for the perfect moment to buy the dip. But let me be super clear about this. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can do this consistently. Not even the pros with all their fancy algorithms. So what's the answer? It's so simple it's almost boring. Just invest regularly. Doesn't matter if the market's up or down, you just put your money in. This one simple habit takes all the stress and all the guesswork out of it. You just build. Okay, here's another big one, and it's about buying stuff you don't actually understand. So I want you to ask yourself this, honestly. If you can't explain, like in one simple sentence, how a company you own actually makes money, should you really own its stock? The reason that's so important is because without understanding, you have zero conviction. And conviction, well, that's your anchor in a storm. It's what stops you from hitting the panic button the second the market gets a little shaky. Without it, you're just a leaf in the wind, blowing around with every piece of news. All right, let's pull back and look at the big picture for a second. We've covered the head games and the action traps. Now let's talk about the strategic mistakes, the ones that can mess up your entire plan from the very start. And really, it comes down to these two paths. When you have no strategy, investing is just chaos, right? One day you're a buy and hold investor, the next day you're trying to day trade. It's a mess. But when you have a simple, clear strategy, everything clicks. You have clarity, decisions are suddenly easy, and your journey becomes so much more stable. Now, I want to talk about a huge misunderstanding. You see a number like this, 5%. And, well, it doesn't seem like much, does it? It feels kind of slow. It's the kind of number that makes you want to go chase something bigger, something faster. But the real question we have to ask is, what happens to that small number over time? The answer, it becomes an unstoppable force. That right there is the quiet, powerful magic of compounding. You barely notice it at first, But when you are consistent, when you let it do its thing year after year, the growth becomes incredible. Consistency is the key that unlocks that superpower. And finally, let's talk about two absolute game enders. First, completely underestimating risk. Only ever asking, how much money can I make? And never asking, what could possibly go wrong? And the second one, and this one is the most painful of all, is giving up too early. Quitting right before your plan really starts to pay off. So, where does that leave us? What's the actual path forward? Let's wrap this all up with a takeaway that's really simple, but definitely not easy. And this is really the core of it all. The actual rules: be patient, invest regularly, have a plan. They're simple. Anyone can understand them. The really hard part is actually doing it. It's sticking to the plan when fear and greed are pulling you in a million different directions. The whole game is just to stop trying to be perfect. Instead, just focus on avoiding these huge mistakes we talked about. And then, just let time do its thing. If you can manage that, it all boils down to this one final question, and it's the only one that really matters. If you apply these lessons starting today, will your future self thank you for it?